waters here, and that's why some say the Republicans have no choice but to call out that perceived lawlessness and do something as politically unpopular as impeach him.
Look, I believe it is an impeachable offense. If the circumstances were different, if we were at the beginning of a presidency, if we hadn't had years when the Congress has been supine and unresponsive at other grabs of their authority by the executive, like Obama unilaterally changing Obamacare after it was passed about 30 times with no response from the Congress, the same as Obama essentially rewriting some of the drug laws. This idea of prosecutorial discretion is really a travesty. It is intended for extreme cases, for a case where you want to show mercy for an individual or two, where it's unusual incident, unusual circumstances, and you say, okay, we're going to give this person a pass. It was never intended to abolish a whole class of people subject to a law and to essentially abolish whole sections of a law. And that's exactly what's happening here.
What they keep saying is sort of this plaintiff complaint that we really want this. It's time. The Republicans didn't do it. We tried to get it passed in Congress, and we couldn't. And therefore, the president must act, which, as I have to tell you, somebody who practiced law for 10 years, it makes my brain freeze up. That's not the way the system is designed.
Well, that's the way the system is in Venezuela. If the caudillo isn't able to get stuff done through Congress, he issues a decree, and that's it. And he'll arrest anybody who gets in the way. The whole American system is designed that there has to be a collaboration between the Congress and the president. Congress has to pass it. He has to sign it. That's the way the thing works. You can't say, I waited and waited. And incidentally, the cynicism of Obama saying, I waited and waited, he was in control of the Congress. The Democrats had majorities for 2 years, in 09 and 10. He could have proposed and passed any immigration reform he wanted. He didn't propose it. He waited. And now he says, I waited for Republicans. Where were you when you had control of the Congress? And you can't just say, I waited. You have to work with the Republicans. And you cannot simply issue decrees. We don't rule by decree in this country. I mean, Obama says he's a constitutional scholar. And the interesting part, as you showed earlier, is he knows that he shouldn't be doing this. But I think he's reached a point in his presidency, he's not ever going to be on the ballot again, even indirectly. And he doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
He's going to go for it.
What would happen, Charles, in this country if we had a Republican president who said, you know what, I'm going to use my prosecutorial discretion to just not go after those who harass women who are going into abortion clinics? I realize there are laws on the books that say we should go after them, but I just see them as worthy of my mercy. And I tried to push a bill through Congress, but those darn Democrats wouldn't allow it. So with the stroke of my pen, I am now going to say we're just not going to prioritize those prosecutions. I mean, this is a precedent that the left may not want to set.
Well, the example I like to use is, let's say you get a Republican president who says, I've tried to get the abolition of the capital gains tax because it's hurting our economy, but the Congress simply won't cooperate, and I will not wait. So I have issued an executive order that the IRS will no longer collect capital gains taxes or pursue anybody who doesn't pay them. Everybody would say this is obviously a breach of the Constitution, and it would be an impeachable offense. And, of course, if it's a Democrat and it's for an issue where the media are rather sympathetic, they let it pass. But I think you're right. The Democrats will rue the day when this kind of invasion of the territory of Congress was allowed to pass. And it isn't only that Democrats are not defending their own institution, as you would have expected in the day of the great Democrats. It's that they are applauding and encouraging this sort of usurpation of their power, and they will regret it because there's going to be a Republican administration one day, and they will be on the receiving side of precedents that they themselves have set and did nothing about.
It's extremely short-sighted, and they will not always like the person they have in the White House. Charles, thanks for being here.
Pleasure.